Pokemon Moon was the first Pokemon game that I ever completed playing. The first time I did this was about 7 years ago. There is, however, a pretty underused feature in these games, the Island Scan, a feature that allows you to catch Pokemon that aren't found in the Alola region. I wanted to play through Pokemon Moon, but I also wanted to play through using Island Scan. So I decided to make this into a fun playthrough challenge. Can you beat Pokemon Moon only using Island Scan Pokemon? Fun playthrough challenge, in my opinion. I started the playthrough the way you should any playthrough, by making a spreadsheet. This details the Pokemon, where they can be found, the day they can be found, and the special egg move they'll have. I started by catching a Clink, which has a problem. It only knows 2 moves, and it's level 8. We are 5 minutes in, we're already grinding. Finally, I felt comfortable when it got Gear Grind, a Steel type move. However, it got this at level 16, which allowed it to easily wipe the floor with a Lima. Maybe I overleveled a little bit, but that's fine, because I'm going to have to catch this Chikorita, who I thought wouldn't be good, but this Pokemon becomes a demon in battle later. Time for the first trial. The Team Skull Grunts were pretty easy and actually allowed Chikorita to evolve into Bayleaf. Then was Totem Raticate, for which I sent out Bayleaf. I used Leech Seed, causing it some damage, and it summoned its ally Rattata. I then used Poison Powder, and then I used Poison Powder again to stop it from using a Pecha Berry. And now, I just stalled it for 2 turns before I won the battle. This is what makes Bayleaf so good in this challenge. It has Poison Powder and Leech Seed, making it an ultimate stall Pokemon, especially because it has high defense rather than attack. Next was my grand trial with Hala, which is not going to be as easy. Makuhita and Mankey went down pretty easily, but then came Crabrawler, who used its Z move and defeated Bayleaf. I sent out Clink next, and you all know where that went. You know, looking back, maybe I should have caught the Litwick on Memorial Hill, but let's just fight Hala again. I led with Bayleaf, and I used Razor Leaf, which got a crit, which is not good like it normally would be, because now Mankey has maximized attack. Bayleaf was able to survive a hit and take out Mankey, but it still took a lot of damage, so I sent in Clink, who managed to defeat Makuhita somehow. Then was Crabrawler, and I decided to heal up Bayleaf while Crabrawler used its Z move. Bayleaf came in and then easily defeated Crabrawler. That is our first grand trial done. Next, I went over to Akala Island. On my way to the next trial, I got Bayleaf the TM for Protect, making it even better at stalling. Now was for Totem Wishy-Washy, and I sent out Bayleaf, who was easily able to take down this trial. After that, I was able to catch a Marill as a temporary water type. Just one problem, it had Thick Fat as an ability. I needed Huge Power, dang it. Huge Power would have been so much better. I still trained it up a bit, but it really didn't seem like it would be staying on the team that long. Kiawe's trial was next, and I lost. Twice, actually. I decided that the problem was that Bayleaf was completely useless in this battle, because it's weak to fire, and you can't poison the Salazzle. So, we have a problem. However, on my third attempt, I had an idea. I led with a Azumarill, and decided to use the Z move Hydro Vortex, and I instantly won. It was an Oko. That wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I then finally went back to Route 3 and caught a Cyndaquil. Which, real quick, can I mention the fact that this is my 3rd Cyndaquil I've used this year? Kind of weird with all the Typhlosion leaks and stuff. I also went and caught a Gothita, and quickly realized it wouldn't be on my team long because it evolves at level 32, which, for such terrible stats, that kind of sucks. So now for Mallow's trial. And I lost twice again, because apparently the way Lurantis' ability is different in this game. The ability basically makes it so that Bayleaf can't use Leech Seed because it's a grass type, and as long as it's either if it's day or just in any weather, Lurantis will not be taking poison. So Bayleaf was completely useless. And also, any battle that's been hard has been ones where I couldn't use Bailey. Take Bailey? Fuck. Any battle that's been hard has been a battle where I couldn't use Bayleaf. Take that, Bayleaf haters. Actually, I shouldn't say anything. One of my next playthroughs, I have to use one. So, yeah. On my third attempt, I decided to give it everything I had. I led with Clink, and after a bit of a struggle with Lurantis, and calling its ally Trumbeak, Clink went down. I sent out Quilava next, and after taking a Solar Blade and a Screech, I switched out to Bayleaf, and it was instantly KO'd. I sent in a Azumarill, which I didn't expect this, but it actually got in some decent damage on Lurantis because Lurantis was dumb and only used X Scissor rather than Solar Blade. So I attacked it, didn't KO it, but Azumarill did do good damage before going down to an eventual Solar Blade. I sent out Quilava, and knowing this was my last chance before Lurantis healed again, I used Inferno Overdrive. And this took out the Lurantis, but I still have to take out Trumbeak, who was perfectly set to KO Quilava. So I switched to Gothita to revert all of the stat changes, and then Gothita went down. So I sent in Quilava and KO'd the Trumbeak. I won the grass trial. Now I need a water type, so I went and got a Totodile. However, I learned that Totodile was not going to be great in this game because it's a physical attacker and it can't learn a physical water move until level 63 or until it gets the Waterfall TM in the post game. I decided to use Spiel instead, who I caught and put on the team in place of Totodile. I also caught a Luxio while waiting to go to school one day. I put it on my team in place of Gothita. And it had Rivalry as an ability and not Intimidate. That is so much worse. Time to battle Olivia. I accidentally led with Luxio against Nosepass because I was grinding it. And after a bit of a struggle, Luxio almost defeated Nosepass, but it just about didn't. Spiel was next, and Olivia healed up, and then paralyzed Spiel before KOing it. Oh boy, not good so far. I sent out Clink and had it use Gear Grind, which took out Nosepass. Next was Lycanroc, and I used Gear Grind, but Lycanroc defeated Clink after that. I sent in Quilava, baiting Lycanroc's Z-move, which worked perfectly, might I add. Next, I sent in a Azumarill and managed to take out Lycanroc with Aqua Tail. Finally, it was Boldore, and Boldore KO'd Azumarill with Headbutt. I sent in Bayleaf, who was my last hope. And one Leech Seed Poison Stall later, I was able to beat Olivia. How I proceeded to then whip half my team in our next battle. I decided to start training up a little more since I'd been struggling for a bit. I didn't know what else to do. I determined that the big problem was that my Pokemon were either unevolved, had bad moves, or overlapped with each other. Luckily, while training Bayleaf, it evolved, and Luxio evolved too. I felt like I was ready to fight Totem Vikavolt. However, I was very wrong and lost instantly. Time to try this again. I went back in with Quilava and had it use Ember, which got a crit doing good damage despite Vikavolt's Akaberry. Chargebug was summoned in next, and I used Ember again, getting Vikavolt to a little below half. However, Quilava went down soon after. I sent in Luxray and did good damage, but then went down soon after from Vikavolt's Bug Bite. However, with Vikavolt so low, I sent in Meganium and had it use Leech Seed, which was able to beat Vikavolt after Meganium took 2 bug bites. Meganium then couldn't take anything else, though, and went down. I sent in Azumarill and defeated the Charjabug with a rollout, winning me the battle. While doing some grinding, Spheal evolved into Celio. I guess that's a thing. I then decided to change up the team a little bit. I caught a Honedge and put it on the team in place of Clink, who was still not evolved, and I caught a Staravia in place of Azumarill. And Staravia had a nice thing. It had Intimidate! Finally, something with a good ability. This was what I intended to be my final team. Now it's time for the next trial. Totem Mimikyu appeared, and I led with Meganium and used Leech Seed. Haunter came in as an ally, but I started stalling with Protect, but after being put to sleep, I decided to switch to Staravia, lowering Mimikyu and Haunter's attack stats with Intimidate. This allowed Staravia to survive a hit, so I switched away and went into Honedge. I knew it would go down quickly, but this allowed me to get a free switch back into Staravia to Intimidate again. I switched to Celio next and decided to attack Haunter instead of Mimikyu, since it was almost down. Celio was then put to sleep, but it was too late. Mimikyu had been taken down by the Leech Seed. Haunter then took out Celio, but I sent in Staravia one more time and took out Haunter. I had won. While fighting Plumeria, Staravia evolved into Staraptor. I then took down Team Skull, but it was actually a bit of a struggle. However, I was still able to just about beat their boss, Guzma. While doing some extra training in the desert, Honedge evolved into Doublade, and while fighting Gladion, Kulava evolved into Typhlosion. Finally, before I could rescue Lily, I needed to take on Nanu. Unfortunately, this is how the battle went. Yes, this did hurt. Worst, the biggest problem on his team was his Sableye, which means I need to take it out quickly. Good news is that Togekiss is a Pokemon that is available through Island Scan, and it's a good fairy type. However, Togekiss is only available on Pony Island at Pony Gauntlet, which is a post-game location, and worse, Togekiss is one of 2 fairy types in the Island Scan. The other one I've already gotten, and it wasn't doing very well on my team, and I've already boxed it. That being Azumarill. Knowing I had little choice, I went in again, and I started with Meganium, and it was able to actually stall Sableye somehow. After taking a swagger, though, I switched to Celio against Krokorok, and I was immediately defeated. Next was Staraptor, who activated Intimidate. Krokorok almost took out Staraptor, but we managed to get it with close combat. Finally was Persian, and I decided to waste Persian's Fake Out by having it use Power Gem on Staraptor. This was successful, and then I sent in Meganium, who was taken out by a Black Hole Eclipse, which is, a Z move. I sent in Luxray next, and had it use Eerie Impulse, lowering Persian's special attack. However, it was still able to defeat Luxray. I sent in Typhlosion, though, and it picked up the KO, winning me the battle. It was time for the Aether Foundation, and the only thing I feel like mentioning here is the battle I had with Guzma, because I lost again. I went in again later, though, and I led with Staraptor. Guzma led with Glycopod, and on my second attempt, Staraptor managed to defeat our favorite bug boy's favorite bug Pokemon before it could activate its emergency exit. Next was Masquerain, and I sent in Typhlosion, but Ember wasn't doing enough anymore, and it took out Typhlosion. Next was Luxray, who was able to take out Masquerain with Thunderfang. Next was Pinsir, so I switched to Doublade, who was able to beat Pinsir by getting a +4 sword stance. I capitalized on this by taking out Ariados as well, winning us the battle. Time for the president of the Aether Foundation, Lusamine. I led with Staraptor, and she led with Clefable. Staraptor did very little damage to Clefable, and Clefable did a lot of damage before landing a Sing with Metronome. It then went down to a Moonblast. I sent in Doublade next, and it did almost nothing with Shadow Claw. And Moonblast still did a lot. Clefable used Metronome again, and it became Searing Shot. What is this? I sent in Celio next, and it was able to take down Clefable. But this battle isn't near over yet. She still has 4 more Pokemon. I switched to Typhlosion, who became paralyzed and confused. I was only able to get off 1 Ember before being defeated by Petal Dance. I sent in Celio again, and it was OHKO'd by Petal Dance. Luxray was next, and it wasn't able to KO Lilligant before being defeated again. Meganium came in and defeated Lilligant with Magical Leaf, but Meganium, Mismagius was next, and it instantly KO'd Meganium with Mystical Fire. I lost. Okay, so I'll be honest, I thought I would lose that battle. Just based on how everything was going in the playthrough so far, I thought I'd lose. But I didn't expect to lose that badly. I couldn't even defeat half of her team. And by the way, I was a few levels above her. This was really bad. I don't need to win this battle to progress though, so I set off to Pony Island. Now that we're here, I decided to make my team more powerful. Let's go through the problems my team faces again. Pokemon are either pretty weak, have bad moves, and thankfully the type overlap problem is gone. I was able to evolve Doublade into Aegislash and leveled up Typhlosion to level 43 so that it could finally get a decent fire move. And the thing is, though, even after evolving Celio into Walrein, it still had the problem of not being able to learn a viable water move besides Brine. Until the post game, where it could get Surf from a TM. So instead, I needed a new Pokemon, so I re-added Gothita to the team. After some training, it was time to fight Hapu. I led with Meganium, and she led with Dugtrio. However, not liking this type lead, I decided to switch to Staraptor, allowing Dugtrio to set up the Sandstorm. Staraptor, however, was able to OHKO Dugtrio with close combat. Hapu sent out Gastrodon, so I sent out Meganium. Energy Ball was able to OHKO Gastrodon, and next was Flygon, so I switched into Staraptor again. We used Brave Bird, doing good damage to Flygon, but it also took it down with its recoil damage. I sent out Gothitelle next, my evolved Gothita, and used Psychic, defeating Flygon. The Sandstorm then subsided, and she sent out Mudsdale. I decided to switch to Meganium, and I used to protect, blocking Tectonic Rage, and after that, one bit of Leech Seed stalling and an Energy Ball, we had won. Totem Kamoa was next, and Gothitelle joined the team at the perfect time, making this an easy KO. We're moving up in the world now. Me and Lily went through the Ultra Wormhole on the back of one of my favorite Pokemon, and after landing in Ultra Space, Lusamine fused with Nihilego. Really quick, can we talk about how absolutely insane the story of this game is? No? Okay, whatever. I had to battle her again, and this time her Pokemon have special stat boosts. She leads with Clefable, and I lead with Aegislash. I was able to easily OHKO Clefable with Iron Head. Mismagius comes out next, and I was able to OHKO it with Shadow Claw next. Milotic came in, I sent in Luxray, and OHKO'd it with Wild Charge. Lilligant, I switched to Typhlosion, who OHKO'd it with Flamethrower. And finally was Beware, who I was able to defeat using Flamethrower. Somehow, I managed to sweep Lusamine, which is a lot of good revenge. I was then asked to take on the Pokemon League at the top of Mount Lanakila. And I'm going to be honest, I can't show it here, but the formats for Mount Lanakila are so different in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon from Sun and Moon. I'd completely forgotten because I haven't played a regular Sun and Moon in genuinely almost 5 years as of the time this video comes out. Actually, it might be 5 years as of the time this comes out. I then defeated the Elite Four pretty easily. Now all I have to do is defeat Professor Kukui. We stared each other down, and it was time to begin the battle. I led with Staraptor, and he led with Lycanroc. It used Stone Edge, which is exactly what I wanted. It wasn't Stealth Rock. Not only, but Staraptor was also able to survive and use close combat, defeating Lycanroc, stopping it from setting up Stealth Rocks. Next was Ninetales, so I switched to Aegislash. I proceeded to Oko Ninetales with an Iron Head. Next was Snorlax, and I sent out Staraptor to intimidate it. I switched to Luxray using U-Turn, and Luxray used Volt Switch, switching back to Staraptor for a second Intimidate. Staraptor's close combat just didn't KO, and Snorlax was able to KO it after that. So I switched into Aegislash, who defeated Snorlax. Next was Decidueye. So I sent in Typhlosion. It used Brave Bird, which Typhlosion survived, and we used Flamethrower, which between the two was able to defeat Decidueye. Next was Braviary, so I had Luxray use Wild Charge, defeating it. Now, Kukui's final Pokemon was Magnezone, and I decided to take it down in the best way possible. One very, very long Leech Seed stall, which I cannot talk about because it would basically be a video in and of itself. But we managed to win the battle anyway. And that's it. I managed to beat Pokemon Moon using only Island Scan Pokemon. My takeaways? Well, Meganium can be a good Pokemon if it has Leech Seed. And I also need to be better at Pokemon because I did a very bad job handling my team in there. Oh my god, this challenge... I liked my team, but despite that, this challenge was very hard. I actually plan on doing a redemption run in Ultra Sun sometime soon. If you guys want to see that, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, and share this video with everyone you know and love. And if it... crap. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!